The roar of the motorcycle shattered the quiet afternoon as the man in the black leather vest kicked up dust speeding through the peaceful neighborhood. No one noticed the small footsteps pattering behind him, tiny, frantic, desperate. But when the biker paused at the end of the street to adjust his gloves, he suddenly heard it, the sharp, trembling sobs of a little girl running after him with everything she had. He turned, confused, watching her stumble forward, her blue dress fluttering, tears streaking her cheeks, and for a moment he didn't understand why a child would chase a stranger like him, until the truth came crashing down far too late to undo what had already happened. Backhand index pointing right. If you believe in kindness, compassion, and second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps these stories reach more hearts. The man's name was Cole, a solitary biker who carried a heavy silence wherever he went. Once a soldier, once a brother, once someone people could rely on, life had chipped away at him until he believed it was safer to be alone. He spent his days riding from town to town on his old motorcycle, speaking only when necessary, avoiding attachments of any kind. Yet as he watched the small girl approach him now, gasping for breath, he felt something unfamiliar stirring inside him, a strange worry he didn't want to acknowledge. The girl, barely 7 years old, looked like she had been searching for him for a long time, though he had no idea who she was. Her hair was messy from the wind, her hands scraped as if she had fallen more than once in her attempt to reach him. Cole stiffened, unsure how to react. He was used to people avoiding him, not running toward him. He muttered that she should go home, that he wasn't who she thought he was, but she shook her head fiercely, hugging something close to her chest. It was a small, crumpled photograph, one that made Cole's pulse stumble when he finally looked at it. The picture was old, slightly faded. A younger version of Cole stood alongside a woman holding a newborn baby wrapped in a soft blanket. The happiness in his eyes felt like they belonged to another lifetime. The girl whispered through her tears that the woman in the picture, her mother, had passed away 2 weeks ago. Cole's entire world tilted as she spoke. She said her mother had always told her that if anything ever happened, she should find the kind man on the motorcycle, because he would take care of her. Her mother had given her the picture, told her the biker's name, and told her he was the only family she had left. Cole's throat tightened painfully. He hadn't seen her mother in more than 7 years. They weren't romantically involved, never had been, but she had been the one person who believed he was still good despite the mistakes he'd made. She used to write him letters when he served overseas, reminding him that the world still had soft places. But after he returned home broken, ashamed, too weighed down by guilt from things he couldn't forget, he had disappeared on purpose, convinced he didn't deserve to be in anyone's life. And now, standing in front of him was the child of the one person he had pushed away, the child who had no one else. The little girl said she had tried to reach him earlier that day. She had waved, shouted, even stepped toward him as he rode by, but he hadn't noticed. Now, she had been running behind him for blocks, terrified he would disappear like everyone else in her life had. Cole felt a cold heaviness settle in his chest. He hadn't realized. He hadn't seen her. He had been so wrapped in his own silence that he hadn't noticed a child begging for help. He knelt slowly, wiping her tears with the edge of his glove, feeling his heart crack in ways he didn't think it could anymore. He asked where she was staying, who was caring for her, but she shook her head with a small, heartbreaking motion. After her mother passed, she had been moved between neighbors who couldn't keep her for long. She had overheard someone say she would probably be sent somewhere far away soon, to people she didn't know, to a place where she would lose even the memory of her mother's stories about the biker with the gentle heart. Cole felt the weight of every choice he hadn't made. Every letter he never answered. Every moment he avoided someone who believed in him. He lifted the girl into his arms, feeling her small frame trembling against him, and for the first time in years he felt the crushing pressure of responsibility, but not the kind that suffocated him. This felt like a responsibility he had been meant to carry all along. As he held her, he realized she wasn't just seeking a person, she was seeking safety, connection, and the last piece of her mother's love. Cole carried her back toward the neighborhood she had come from, walking instead of riding, letting her rest her head against his shoulder. People watched quietly from porches, surprised to see the stern biker moving with such visible gentleness. He promised himself he wouldn't run anymore. He wouldn't hide behind excuses, guilt, or fear of messing up. The girl clutched the photograph tighter, her breathing evening out. Cole whispered that he was sorry, for not being there for her mother, for not arriving sooner, for not realizing she needed him until she was already exhausted and scared. And she whispered back, with the fragile trust only children can give, that it wasn't too late, because he was here now. But deep down, Cole knew that the truth, that she had already spent days frightened and alone, would haunt him for the rest of his life. He wished he had found her earlier. He wished he had listened when fate tried to tug him in her direction. Still, he silently vowed that from this moment onward, he would fight to be someone she never had to chase again. Backhand index pointing right. If this story touches your heart even a little, please like the video, share it with others, and subscribe for more emotional stories. Your support truly means a lot. Before the final words of this story settle, please comment below, do you believe one moment of kindness can change a life forever? Cole didn't know what the future would look like for them, but as he walked down that sunlit street with the little girl's small hand wrapped around his vest, he realized something he thought he had lost long ago: hope. Not the loud, overwhelming kind, but the quiet kind that grows gently when someone trusts you enough to hold your hand. And for the first time, he felt that maybe, just maybe, he had been running all these years only so he could finally learn how to stop.